Hey guys, hope everybody is doing great. So previously I made a video regarding my CA final exams review, and now it's time to make a detailed review about my CA final IBS exam. Starting with, we had 5 questions wherein we have to attend 4 case studies. For me, which I felt more challenging was to select the questions which I have to write in the file, like selecting the 4 questions in those 15 minutes which they provide us in the beginning to read the question paper. That was the challenging part for me, and I selected 4 questions based on the descriptive questions, which was quite easy. Instead of referring to the MCQs, I selected descriptive questions, and which descriptive questions I was confident, I selected those 4 questions. I selected first question, I selected third question, I selected fourth and fifth question. Initially when I was reading the question paper, there are so many things that was going on in my mind. I felt this paper was very difficult. How could I manage to complete this paper in 4 hours? So many things. I was so nervous at that moment. Also, when I was selecting in the questions in those 15 minutes, I used to write the subject names, which will be easy when I'll write the answers for that, to search the answers for the questions. And then comes after 15 minutes when they give the paper, I started solving MCQs. I started solving the paper with MCQs, and since I wrote both the groups, I felt MCQs were quite okay. Because I could able to solve most of the MCQs by myself. Like, I didn't use any books to search the MCQs. I guess for 15-20 marks, I just did it by myself, MCQs, and I didn't waste much of a time in MCQs. For me, I had to make sure that in 4 hours, 1 hour for every case study, so that we could manage the time. If we complete one case study in 1 hour, it's virtually certain that we'll be completing the paper. If not, it is not even probable that we will be completing our paper, right? So I had to make sure that I could save maximum time wherever it is possible. So I started with the MCQs, and most of the MCQs I've done with myself, where I was not searching in any book. And I started my paper with writing fourth question, which I felt easy. Fourth and fifth question I felt easy, so I started with the easy one, so that it will give the confidence for me to go ahead in the paper, right? So I started with 4, and in 4, I again, MCQs, I solved most of the MCQs by myself, and for those which I don't know, I started searching in the books. And after MCQs, soon after MCQs, I used to make sure that I'll be completing MCQs in 15 minutes or 18 minutes max, and then I used to go for descriptive. And then in fourth question also, I guess I pretty much done every descriptive questions well. And then I wrote fifth question the same way. I completed writing fourth and fifth question in 2 hours 15 minutes. I tried my best to complete it in 2 hours, but I couldn't able to. I ended up completing only after 2 hours and 15 minutes. And then now the challenging part is first question and third question, where I didn't know the answer for one descriptive question in each questions. I didn't know the answer for 1.7, and I didn't know the answer for 3.6. And first thing, my target to complete whatever I know. First, basically, whatever I know, I should complete within time. And I completed whatever I know within 5:45. Completed writing for 90 marks for the questions which I know for the 90 marks within 5:45. And in that 15 minutes, I started to check my paper whether the question numbers are correct. And after checking everything in my paper, I started writing answer for 1.7, which is wrong. I thought it was from audit, because since that question was about summary financial statements, I was thinking that it was from audit. But after getting to know in the YouTube videos, it was from SCPM. So whatever I wrote is basically wrong. And so yeah, this is it. Now while concluding, I can say I wrote properly for 90 marks. I'm still not confident whether all the answers in IBS is correct, because what I felt challenging is, in IBS we have to look up to many different subjects. Like, in one questions we'll be having the questions of 6-7 subject, and since I wrote both the groups, that might be a perk for me in writing this subject. This I have to say. And this time I guess we got more questions from SCPM and law, which is a self-paced module for us. where we didn't have a detailed knowledge about that subject, and that might be challenging also in writing the entire IBS paper, because when you get the more questions from the subjects where you are not confident enough to write, that will be quite time taking. You have to search from law, SCPM. Law is fine, but for me, I felt SCPM was the challenge for me, because I was not pretty confident, or I didn't had the detailed knowledge in that subject. Also, for the people who wrote only one group, I guess for them it was a tough paper. The crux in approaching this subject is to write the easy questions first, which you are very confident enough, and then go for the difficult ones, and not take the difficult questions first, because it takes a lot of time and you're almost off of the time as went in solving that difficult question. I guess going with the questions which you are well known is a pretty good approach in these kind of subjects. And also, I guess you guys can do in home the case studies practice. While doing a case study practice, you can set a timer, like how many minutes you are taking to solve one case study, which I did a day before the exam. So that also works well, and choosing questions in those 15 minutes also plays a very important role. I guess going with the descriptive questions is the best way to approach, because you can just read the descriptive questions and tick it, so that you can select which you are very confident enough in those 5 questions, that 4 questions. If you are finding difficulty in descriptive, then you can go for MCQs, reading MCQs. Since reading MCQs and descriptive takes a lot of time, it is not advisable to read both while selecting the questions. It is better to go with the descriptive ones. This is it, a detailed review about my CA final IBS exam. Meet you guys in the next video. Till then, stay tuned. Bye bye.